How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, live stream Friday, and as we do every Friday here, we are coming together, hanging out, smoking a little bit of herb. It's been a long week. We've all been working real hard, and we've come together to hang out, talk about the news, and be unburdened by what has been a very long week. Um, Not joining me tonight is Liberty Swine. Of course, this is his birthday week, so he is out actually on vacation, and we're all hoping that he had a real good vacation, had a real good birthday, and wishing him the best. If you guys would like, go ahead and drop by his social media. All the links are in the description below, and wish him a happy birthday. But anyway, we had quite a bit going on this week. Of course, this Tuesday was the presidential debate. I don't know. We'll give my thoughts on that. We're not going to go too deep into it. I don't have a bunch of clips pulled up from it or anything like that, but we'll give my thoughts a little bit on it. We're also we have Trump has also announced that is going to be the last debate. He's also announced a new policy position, which is no tax on overtime. All right, we'll be talking about my thoughts on that one. Are Haitians eating pets? I don't know. We'll be talking about that just a little bit, but yeah, interesting stuff. But anyway, we also have Putin is threatening war with NATO over the Congress, basically moving to lift a ban on Ukraine striking with our missiles deep into Russian territory. All right, so basically trying to go into a more offensive, trying to punish the Russians in order to get them to, I guess, stop moving into Ukraine. We'll be talking about that, what the implications of that will more than likely end up being. Of course, we've talked about it quite a bit. It's a further escalation of World War III, and at this point, it's starting to seem inevitable. So we'll be talking about that a little bit. We also have Joe Biden basically kind of showing how he actually feels about the situation. And he went ahead and he put on the Trump hat. Not only did he put on the Trump hat, he took that motherfucker home with him. So we'll be talking about that as well. And of course, this week as well, Taylor Swift went ahead and endorsed Cackling Camel's Toes Harris. Right? Don't really care too much about either way. It's apparently big news, so we'll be talking about that just a little bit. But yeah, ultimately, we got quite a bit, to talk about. But of course, we're going to start with my favorite.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Right. So, of course, that would be from the presidential debate where Donald Trump basically said, that the Haitians, the immigrants over there in Springfield, Ohio, are eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. And of course, the internet went wild, and the lefties went ahead and started making all kinds of different songs and memes and stuff about it. And it was absolutely fucking great. We fucking ended up adopting it. Right, we ended up, commandeering it. What is it? Expropriating their music, their so-called memes, right? So yeah, it really, absolutely backfired on them. I think the fucking music is great. I mean, there's a ton of these on the internet too. There's all over the place. People are doing TikToks with it, but either way, it's kind of one of those no press is bad press type things. Where basically, dude, he's all over the place. He's all over TikTok, all over the internet. And at the same time, of course, it is bringing awareness to the Haitians, the mass amounts of immigrants that have been flooded into all of these different cities and, states all over the United States. And, meanwhile, we have, the Biden administration, along with old Cackles Kamala, trying to say that, no, it's the most secure border that it's ever been. There's nothing happening, nothing to be worried about, right? It's absolutely secure. It's the most securest border of our entire lifetime, right? So, obviously, it's not the case, and it's bringing awareness to the common folk or the TikTokers, right? So yeah, that's at least one good thing out of the debate. So my honest opinion on the debate. All right, my honest opinion on the debate. Donald Trump obviously could have done better. I'm pretty sure that's about the consensus among most people. Yes, Donald Trump definitely could have done better. Ultimately, I still think he did a great job. I think he brought light to a lot of the issues, especially with the political lawfare. Especially when she's trying to say like, oh, she tried to use the convicted felon line on him, and he basically turn it around like, yeah, it's because you guys are weaponizing the law against me. That's why. It's Soviet style, political lawfare. That's the whole thing that communists do. Right. So it really just kind of backfired on her. I mean, again, so here's my bare bones, I guess, kind of thoughts on both sides. Right. So I think Donald Trump was a bit more angry than he should have been. Maybe not angry, but at least was putting off a bit more of the anger vibe than was necessary. Oh, and it's not so much that like, like, oh, he was angry, he was yelling this and that, yada yada. It wasn't anything like that. It's just he looked visibly kind of shaken. Obviously he was getting it from both sides. And it wasn't only Cackles Kamala that was starting to irk him. It was the propagandists that were basically moderating the whole thing, right? So like I said, Trump came off a little bit more like I said, it visibly showed that he wasn't having the best time. He wasn't up there loose, like in letting the zingers fly. He did let a couple of them go. Of course, the whole what was it? Stealing Kamala's line of I'm speaking, right? Yeah, that one was pretty good. Of course, that was big laughs all the way around. Of course, it's I think that the delivery could have been better. Yeah, honestly, I think the delivery could have been better on that one. But yeah, ultimately, that's my thoughts on Trump. In order, in my opinion, he did look like he was getting visibly kind of irked by the entire situation that was going on there, right? So Kamala, on the other hand, she looked like obviously smug, smug as can be. She looked like I said, just real content with herself, right? Meanwhile, trying to pass off that this whole entire economic situation that we have going on right now is not of her and Joe Biden's doing. And I believe that she was also trying to use the empathy factor, right? So what is Kamala Harris's most well-known debate moment, right? The one that everybody shares all over the place. And it was, of course, with the Democrat primary back in 2020, right? And it was the line with I was that little girl on the school bus, and basically calling Joe Biden a racist for trying to stop busing or whatever. And yeah, so I was that little girl, and so it seemed like she was trying to use that whole like I can relate to the common people and stuff like that. Like, people out there are suffering and they want real solutions, and all that type of trying to emotionally connect with the voters, right? And I don't know how I'll give it to her. I guess it did kind of work. Obviously, I obviously know that she was full of shit throughout the entire thing, but she didn't look bad out there, right? It definitely was night and day difference between that debate and the debate with Joe Biden. Obviously, for obvious reasons, Joe Biden is a demented old fool, which we will be showing in just a few minutes. But at the same time, Kamala didn't do too bad, right? I'll give her that. Again, her policies are absolutely dystopian. They're absolutely communist, horrible ideas. But still, nonetheless, like I said, her propagandistic delivery of them, basically trying her portraying things like price controls and fucking bread lines in a positive light, worked out. She did all right with it. All right, that's my honest opinion of it. All right, that's it. But back to the whole fact checking thing, right? So the fact checking was obviously very one sided. Of course, we knew this from the very start. We knew this before the date was even confirmed, back when we were still discussing whether or not there's going to be 3 or 4 debates, right? So we knew that there's going to be fact checking that was going to be completely one sided. They tried to fact check Donald Trump on abortion up to and including 9 months, but of course we all remember the video from back in the day. I forget which state it's from, but you know, it's basically where they're having the discussion with the doctor and saying that, oh, well, we'll have the discussion with the doctor and we'll decide what to do afterward, and then we'll keep the baby comfortable. Like that's you know, post birth abortion, right? That's what they're talking about there, right? And they're trying to pretend, oh, that's not real. Nobody actually wants that. But as we saw, Kamala Harris lied the entire night, right? Of course, the most obvious and most egregious one, in my opinion, was her lies about I'm not gonna take your gun. As a matter of fact, me and Tim Waltz, we both own guns ourselves. Like, bitch, what the fuck kind of Elmer Fudd ass gun do you own? Right? Nobody gives a shit about your little 38 fucking 38 special, your little revolver, your prostitute fucking gun or anything like that. And of course, Tim Walsh, he does have, you know, a military background experience. I did see, you know, quite a few clips of Tim Walsh actually being pro Second Amendment, you know, back in his previous political career. But you know, he does have the National Guard, you know, experience. So it I would assume that he has, you know, probably more than one gun in his house, probably locked behind, you know, lock and key in a safe, and he's probably got the ammunition stored. So I'll be honest now, probably not. He's probably got it right there with him, because laws are for regular people, right? Of course, he would, you know, institute laws like, oh, you have to have ammunition stored separately from the firearm itself, so that way if anybody breaks into your house, then you have to go to several places to make sure that you can defend yourself. It's going to be like a quest, right? It's gonna be like a video game. It's cool, right? So yeah, obviously those are, you know, these people are rules for thee, but not for me. So I'm sure he has his fucking magazines fully loaded, fucking one in the chamber, probably. I don't know, but either way, Kamala Harris though, not so sure. Right. Of course, you know, Kamala Harris is from California, so it wouldn't be beyond her to own, you know, several guns. She's probably got a fucking Glock with the switch, you know. Fuck we talking about? This bitch is a total fucking hypocrite. Of course she's got some, you know, some ridiculous shit that the rest of us are not allowed to have. I'm just kidding. I highly doubt that. She's probably got, if anything, like a shotgun with fucking some fucking number 8 shot in there, something like that, some bird load, you know, fucking shooting clay pigeons and shit. But yeah, that was the big shock of the night. And then of course I went ahead and pulled up a whole bunch of clips for you guys of the obvious proof that that's not the case. She is very much looking to take your guns, right? So it's 2010 Kamala Harris. So yes, I created a gun policy. Guns kill. Cackle, snort. And she really is brutal to listen to. Let's check out this clip back in 2010.
Yes, I created a gun policy. Some people ask me why, because there'd never been a gun policy. Why do we need a gun policy? I said, well, guns kill. So, so these are the things we did.
See, whenever somebody said, the first thing that people think about guns is that they kill people, right? That just really goes to show what's on your mind, right? When I think of guns, shit, my guns, you know what I use my guns for? I use them to go fucking shoot steel targets in the middle of the fucking desert and make them go ping. That's what I do with my guns. That's all I plan on doing with my guns. That's all I hope that I ever have to do with my guns, right? Guns for me are for fun. So when you ask people like, oh, you know, whoa, what about guns and stuff? Oh, guns kill people. That's what guns do. Guns are weapons of war. They're designed to kill mass amounts of people and shit. No, that's just what, you know, when that sort of power gets in your hands, that's what you would fucking think to do with it, right? Because of course these people are, you know, the people that got picked on in school, right? The people that, you know, got yeah, you say just picked on in school, the people that weren't exactly the cool kids, the people that you know, were more or less kind of the nerdy kids. right? But then again, I mean, Kamala Harris, you know, she was listening to fucking Tupac and smoking weed back before Tupac was even around. So, well, I don't know. Well, who knows? But you know, so of course, when these people, you know, they've been fucking talked shit to their entire lives, apparently in their mind, of course, because they have the entire victim mentality about everything. When they have, you know, some sort of power in their hand, or obviously when they have power in general, they tend to abuse it, right? They, you know, they don't have, you know, basically in their mind, if you have a gun, you have it because you want to kill people. They can't comprehend anything beyond that, because that's the way that their mind goes. But either way, moving on to the next video. There's like I said, a ton of these. And I think maybe a ton. I don't know. I probably only got a couple of them, but either way, let's check out these. So here's another video portraying that Kamala Harris lied about not wanting to take her guns away. All she does is lie. She accuses Trump of lying. Every time she opens her mouth, a lie comes out. Unreal.
What would you do about the millions of specifically assault weapons that are already in circulation? What do you do about those?
Well, there are approximately 5 million, to your point, Craig. We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program. It's got to be smart. We got to do it the right way.
What?
Right. So mandatory buyback program, right? Let's just go ahead and break those down into simple words. You need to come to a local place and we are going to give you $100 for your guns. And if you don't, and you get caught with your guns, that is a felony and you will go to prison for a long time, a very long time. Because of course, federal gun crimes are very, very highly punished, right? That's what mandatory gun buyback means. It's mandatory. You don't have a choice. They're going to set up a place and you need to bring all of your guns down there and we will give you a fucking tax voucher or some stupid shit like that for these guns that you spent thousands and thousands of dollars on and, you know, have been collecting, or maybe that you're, you know, have been passed down from generation to generation. That's what a mandatory gun buyback is, right? And anybody that does not comply instantly becomes a felon. And if they catch you, like I said, they're going to lock you up. That's what a mandatory gun buyback is. So tell me that's not gun confiscation, right? That's what these people do. It's linguistics. It's just playing with words. It's playing mental gymnastics and just, oh, well, what's another word that means the same thing? We're not allowed to say, we can't say gun confiscation. That doesn't play well with the voters. Let's do mandatory buyback instead. Like it's all the same shit, right? It's all the same shit. And then, for her to come out and try and say that, I'm a gun owner myself. We aren't planning on taking your guns. Like, obviously that's what the case is we're planning on taking your guns. I'm keeping mine. That's what this actually is. Right. So let's check out some of these other ones. Let's see. Kamala, Tim Walz, and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away.
Very clear my position on fracking. And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away.
Right. And then, of course, they got this CNN headline here. So Kamala Harris supports mandatory buyback of assault weapons. Kamala Harris says she'll ban imports of all AR-15 style assault weapons if Congress doesn't act. I'll come back to that one. And Harris calls for assault weapons ban after back-to-back mass shootings. Right. So, of course, the mandatory buybacks, we already talked about those. So assault weapons ban. So the assault weapons ban thing, right? The assault weapon means a rifle or a personal defense weapon that has a select fire that you could either select from single fire or some sort of burst or fully automatic or a combination of all of the three. Selecting from fire to safe is not select fire. That just means that you are selecting from fire to safe. Select fire means that it is either one trigger pull does one shot, or you hit the selector and one trigger pull does something different. Either it does multiple shots or it does, a 3-round burst or something of the sort. Right. So that is what is considered an assault weapon, because those are specifically designed for just that. There is no sporting, I suppose you could come up with some sort of a, sporting reason for it, but technically there's not necessarily a full automatic, shooting competition out there, at least none that I know about. Right. So, that's the whole vagueness of assault weapons, right? So that they don't actually have a legit definition. I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there. I haven't pulled any of them up, but basically of trying to ask these Democrats to define what an assault weapon is, and none of them can do it. Right? None of them can do it because they don't have an actual definition for it. But unfortunately, there is an actual definition for the word assault weapon. And it is what I just described. It is a weapon that has a select fire that has different modes of firing, not just selecting from safe to fire. All right. So anyway, back to this middle one right here. So Kamala Harris says she'll ban imports of all AR-15 style assault weapons if Congress doesn't act. Okay. So the whole thing, AR-15s are pretty American. That's a pretty American gun right there. There's not too many people that are importing AR-15s. They're I mean, maybe they import parts, but at the same time, they import parts for just about everything. Because of course, Congress has banned, or not even Congress, just ATF. It's the whole thing with the Chevron thing. We'll talk about that in a second too. Let me write that down. But yeah, so they with importing AR-15s, it's not too common of a thing. So that really is kind of vague. The vague part comes in as AR-15 style assault weapons, right? So we've seen them talk about literally just about anything that is semi-automatic and in the form of a rifle. They call that an AR-15 style assault weapon, right? I've seen them comment on videos of people using AK-47s and they called it an AR-15 style assault weapon. I've seen people videos of someone shooting a sub 2000 and they call it an AR-15 style assault weapon. So yeah, that's really vague and it really just kind of makes you wonder, what they mean by it. Again, like I said, there are loopholes that a lot of manufacturers will do where they'll have the parts manufactured overseas and then they'll just import the parts. Right. Obviously it's a loophole. You can't import the entire gun. So that's why you'll see, I'm not going to show any of my guns, but on certain guns, one part will be stamped, say the handle, the grip or whatever will be manufactured in the United States or something. And then the slide will be manufactured somewhere else. All right. I think Taurus is partially Brazil and then partially the United States as well. So that's the way that they get around that. So they're not imported; they're the parts are imported, then they're assembled here and sold as manufactured here. So that's how you do it. At least I believe. Again, I'm not a super fucking well versed in any of this stuff. I'm a gun enthusiast, so I know a little bit about it. But let's get back to these cackling camels. Oh, okay. So this video right here, some of you, I don't know, may have seen it in the past, but this video right here is a police National Guard confiscating firearms from citizens after Hurricane Katrina. So people often, will talk about like, oh, well, what would it look like if they came into take your weapons and stuff, and all it really takes is a disaster. Right? Technically, they could have came door to door during COVID. I mean, constitutionally, they couldn't have, but ultimately, they don't give a shit about that. So, really, they could use something like COVID to get people locked in their homes, so that way people aren't able to gather in large groups or anything like that. And then they just start going door to door, and police, they come in non-threatening, and then or threatening, depending on what sort of disaster it is, whether it's whether if there's like looting, if there's terror, stuff like that going on, they could come to the doors, a little bit more, active, as you'll see they do here, or like I said, it could be something COVID related. They get everybody try to get everybody locked in their homes again. We'll see how that ends up working out again if we actually fall for that one again. But yeah, so they try to do stuff like that, and then next thing you know, they're coming through doing stuff like this.
Today in New Orleans, they got a lot tougher on the holdouts.
Police department, anyone home?
Not only the flooded areas, but New Orleans' driest and wealthiest neighborhoods, too.
Police department!
The police and National Guard going street by street, house to house.
We need to make sure, too, that whenever we knock on doors, people refuse to leave, we need to make note, call it in.
They say there are no orders to use force, just strong persuasion, sometimes
Strong
entering
persuasion.
open houses with guns drawn, and instructions to disarm anyone inside.
You said guns will be taken.
No one will be able to be armed. We
Yes,
will
sir.
take all
Yes, sir.
weapons.
That happened today in this wealthy neighborhood where homeowners had armed themselves to protect their mansions. Residents were handcuffed on the ground. In
There
the
it
end,
is.
police took their weapons but let
There
them
it
stay
is,
in
you
their
guys.
homes.
That's what it looks
They
like.
were a little bit threatened because our weapons were bigger than their weapons.
For many of the police and guard troops, it is an uncomfortable job to do this in an American city.
Yeah, you never expect to do this in your own country.
Chris Montgomery says he'd rather be in Iraq than patrolling American neighborhoods.
Walking up and down these streets, you don't want to think about the stuff that you're gonna have to do. Somebody pops around the corner.
Be shooting in America.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about that. They don't give a shit about shooting Americans. You know, at least, you know, that's anybody that does give a shit about shooting Americans, they've probably gotten rid of them at this point. They've probably already, you know, gone off to do their own thing. But yeah, you know, this is what it looks like. This is what a world with you know, Cackles Kamala behind the wheel could look like. Right? Let's see if I got any more real quick. Just trying to rush through these so we could move on to the next topic. Like I said, I got quite a few of these fucking Kamalas in favor of her gun buybacks and stuff. Let's see. So Kamala, I feel very strongly that it is consistent with the Second Amendment and your right to own a gun. To say that we need an assault weapons ban, absolutely not. That's it. Quite literally the opposite. That's like saying, you know, I believe it's consistent with, you know, freedom of speech to, you know, censor a speech that we don't like. You know, that's actually the exact opposite of what that means. But let's go ahead and check this out.
I feel very strongly that it is consistent with the Second Amendment and your right to own a gun to also say we need an assault weapons ban. They're literally tools of war. They were literally.
Sorry, mouse got
They
stuck.
were literally designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. I say we need universal. I feel very strongly.
Right. Yeah. No, it's absolutely not in line with the Second Amendment to you know, take away guns from law-abiding citizens. Right. So yeah, ridiculous. Oh, yeah, this one's let me see. How many lies did Kamala Harris spew last night? There are two debaters, not moderators, didn't fact check. Here's Kamala Harris in her own words saying she wants our guns in the first 100 days.
Guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
I support buybacks, and it's something I'm so passionate about and so looking forward to being president to address. We've got to deal with this.
How mandatory is your gun buyback program?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, but I mean, listen, I don't think we lack for great ideas. As I've said many times, we've been having great ideas for decades. The problem is that Congress has not had the courage to act. And that is why, from the beginning, I have said my agenda includes attempting to get Congress to act, but if they don't within the first 100 days of my administration, I'm going to take executive action. Because what we need is action.
Stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. This business about taking.
Stop with the lies. It's absolutely ridiculous. Right. So this is a post from Kamala Harris from August 25th. Right. So of course, this is what, about two weeks before the debate. The debate was September 10th. So yeah, it's about 2 weeks. All right. So Congress must renew the assault weapons ban. Yeah. It's definitely not planning on taking your guys' guns, though. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's another one. I almost forgot about that one. All right. So yeah, definitely not ban. Absolutely not. I've never said that I wanted to ban fracking. I've always been pro fracking. Right. No, the bitch is a complete fucking liar. She lies about every single thing that she opens her mouth about. Right. That's all that she does. That's all that she does. And she's quite literally one of those people that will say anything to get power. She will say and do anything that she needs to get and maintain power. And that's what we're seeing here, right? None of these ideas are her own. I mean, down to the whole, no tax on tips. Obviously, that wasn't her idea. She obviously stole that from somebody that, you know, we happen to know. So, yeah, none of her shit's original. She has no thoughts of her own. There's nothing in that fucking head of hers other than probably a fucking, you know, microphone or I don't know, a fucking a speaker or some shit. telling her what to fucking say at the right time. That is a conspiracy going around too, actually, right now. I don't necessarily care too much. I mean, like I said, everything that the Democrats really do really kind of is the Obama show anyway. It doesn't matter whether or not Obama was back there down in his fucking basement talking to Kamala through her fucking little earpieces or whatever. It doesn't matter. That's quite literally what anybody in the Democrat Party would do. I'm sure they could find other people that could be much more articulate with it. But ultimately, they need Kamala because Kamala, as I mentioned, is willing to do anything and say anything to get power. She will literally say anything that is whispered directly into her ear. So it really doesn't matter whether, she just studied the lines and she knew exactly, what to say. Maybe she did just train real hard with Hillary Clinton to learn how to debate Donald Trump. And this time it went differently, right? Or maybe she had somebody in here. Either way, it doesn't matter because the Democrat Party, the Uniparty in general, is it's a complete shit show. All right. Together, we passed the first bipartisan law addressing gun violence prevention in nearly 30 years, but we have more work to do. We must pass an assault weapons ban, universal background checks, and red flag laws. Right? Red flag laws, of course, those ones are basically just tell on your neighbor. If you don't like your neighbor, say that he has guns and we'll come take that shit from him. That's all that that's about. But yeah, so Trump announced in Arizona, actually in my hometown of Tucson, Arizona, that he's not going to be doing any more debates, right? He already did 2 debates against the first candidate, and then they didn't like the way that went, so they removed him and then installed their next candidate, which is Kamala Harris, and he debated her too. All right. And again, like I said, Donald Trump did very well. He was very articulate. It did almost kind of sound like he was speaking at a rally, though, at points. It didn't sound like he was, too much trying to get new voters as much as he was just trying to repeat the get the regular voters that he already has, basically, with his getting angry and talking like Trump. Again, like I said, it sounded like he was just talking at a rally or something like that. And but anyway, so yeah, he said that he's not doing another debate. 2 is enough. Again, I'm a little bit disappointed. I would like to see more debates. I'm sure that Donald Trump could crush it. And again, that is ultimately a platform for Donald Trump to be able to, talk more about what their administration is, where their failures are and their weaponization of the judicial system against Donald Trump. So, like I said, I ultimately think that he could only benefit from more debates. But that's just my opinion. If he thinks that it's best that he gets 2 and done, and then basically now we focus on other things, I'm fine with it. Of course, like I said, I'm voting for the dude either way. And if his campaign team or whatever they've been doing great so far says that this is the best route, so be it. But again, like I said, I think he could have personally benefited a bit more from being able to actually get out there and talk more about. I mean, again, he is gagged on several of these political lawfare cases anyway, so it's not like he'd be able to say too much. But either way, I feel like he's able to show more that he is the underdog, right? That he's basically the person that the establishment doesn't want to get into power, because of course he's a threat to the political establishment, which has been really just kind of ripping off the American people and treating us like subjects for several decades now, right? But yeah. So while he was at this rally in Arizona, he also announced that he has a new economic policy, and it's great. No tax on overtime. So of course, as we know, overtime is taxed at a higher rate usually than your regular income tax, right? So you pay extra taxes the more that you work. So basically now what he's offering, and I'm sure old Cackles of the Democrat Party or whatever is going to try and follow in suit and rip off his idea and try to we've always wanted to do that, right? We've always been the party of cutting taxes, right? You guys are fucking socialists. You guys are the party of taxes. If you guys could tax everybody 100% and just basically everybody come and get in the fucking breadline and you get what the fuck we give you and you go to fucking work, otherwise we'll throw you in jail, they would do that. That's the party that they are. They are 100% taxing everybody to death, right? So, yeah. But it seems like Donald Trump seems to have started a tax promise warfare with Kamala Harris. Keep in mind, again, Kamala Harris also did say on the debate stage that she doesn't want to take anybody's guns. When we just showed you tons of clips of her saying exactly that, right? So, whether or not she's even actually serious on the no tax on tips policy that she stole from Donald Trump, remains to be seen, right? But either way, the no tax on overtime, that's just icing on the cake, right? It's just extra, right? So especially in terms of production, right? That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, because that's one thing that we're definitely going to need, especially in the economic turmoil that we're going to be facing in the near future on the global stage with the de-dollarization of oil trade and stuff like that. Of course, the BRICS nations are gaining; they are growing. We talked about this last week. It's not a good look for the United States. I mean, again, it's hard for me to have optimism that basically the machine is suddenly going to put the brakes on, and even with Donald Trump at the wheel, that we're going to get Congress to stop spending so much that we're even going to get Donald Trump to not want to spend so much. Again, I hate to bring it up, this close to election, but the whole stimulus checks that really did kind of fuck us up quite a bit. And again, I understand, whatever. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. We've had that one quite a few times in the past. But either way, this does incentivize more production, which again, like I said, is what we're going to need if we are going to stand completely independent, economically, right? So yeah, it's going to incentivize people to work longer hours, and it's basically going to incentivize businesses to want to hire more people, or to want to hire people that want to work longer hours, because of course they get more production out of it, and of course the people that want to work these longer hours are going to be willing to work a whole bunch of them because of the fact that they're not going to be getting taxed extra for wanting to work longer, right? So win-win for everybody, in my opinion. Of course, it's it remains to be seen as to whether or not Donald Trump's actually going to get elected. Polls are polling in Donald Trump's favor, but at the same time, we got the deep state, right? We do have the riggers, and the riggers going to rig. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it all goes. But either way, Trump's no tax on overtime, that's good shit, right? I don't want to get into how the company that I work for does overtime. It's actually quite annoying, and I ain't trying to badmouth my place of work on this place, but either way, overtime, good shit. Everybody should be working as much as possible anyway, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess people should be trying to live life. You really shouldn't have to work 100 fucking hours every week in order to survive. It really shouldn't be this way. People should be able to go out and start their own businesses a lot easier. It should be you shouldn't have to be a wage slave your entire life. That's what I'm basically getting at. That's not what life is meant to be. It's not what life's about. But ultimately, that is the point that we are at right now, all right? In order for this world that we live in with all your fancy iPhones, with this computer that we're talking on right now, whatever the fuck you guys are listening to me on, all this stuff takes people, and all these people need to work. All right, this stuff doesn't grow from trees. These ideas don't just happen. Everything around you is constantly being improved, and you know how things work, right? But ultimately, people must work. That is the burden of life, right? For ever man must toil under the sun, for his survival. All right, that's the way that it goes. So ultimately, you shouldn't disdain work, but at the same time, that's you got to live your life. You can't lose who you are in your job. You don't want to be one of those detectives fucking losing your wife and kids and all this and that shit because the jab. But, you know, either way, I'm going off topic, but work overtime, you guys. Good shit. You know, hopefully Donald Trump wins. Make sure you guys get your votes in. We're not going to be getting taxed on tips. I'll be honest, if I ever get tips, it's not like I'm reporting that shit anyway, but, you know, we're not going to be getting taxed on overtime as well. Good shit. And if Kamala Harris tries to follow in suit, because of course her whole platform is that Donald Trump wants to cut taxes for the wealthy, and she's all about the middle and lower class, right? She wants to build an economy from the middle up and the bottom out, right? Or some shit like that. But yeah, so she's trying to portray Donald Trump as being all for the wealthy corporations and this and that. So Donald Trump's totally pro Pfizer, right? I don't know. I'll be honest, he probably is. We'll have that. We ain't going down that rabbit hole either. But so yeah, you know, they're trying to portray Donald Trump as being, you know, for the wealthy billionaires and, you know, this and that. When really that is their party. That's the people that's the oligarchic system that supports the Democrat machine, that supports the uniparty machine, right? It's the establishment that is the wealthy billionaires, the billionaires and trillionaires, the, you know, as old Bernie would put it. But yeah, so Donald Trump giving these tax cuts for the everyday working man, that's going a long way with you know, again, the average working person. Again, you if you work at a place where people constantly working overtime, just tell people like, yo, how much you getting taxed on overtime right now? If they say like, oh, dude, I can look at your compare paycheck stubs, if you will. I don't know if that's you know, what you guys do, but yeah, you know, talk about, you know, how much you guys are getting taxed on your overtime, and then you go, dude, vote for fucking Trump, man. Motherfucker said that he's going to get rid of taxes on overtime, right? We get more, we'll be able to keep more of our money, right? Sounds absolutely ridiculous, especially when they try and preach to you all throughout your entire lifetime that you're in the land of the free, and then we're over here like, yay, I get to keep some of my money. Like, I mean, completely fucking contradictory to reality. Absolutely. That's what I hate about the fucking public schooling system. That's what I hate about American fucking propagandistic society that we live in this current 1984 style day and age, right? But it is what it is. So anyway, vote for Donald Trump, get no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, and fuck the deep state, right? Again, that's my most important reason for voting for Donald Trump, is because this is the first time in my life, and I'm sure in a lot of your lives, that we get to say fuck you to the system. Outright fuck you to the system. And that means something, right? That really hits home right here, right? This system that, you know, we've been burdened down by this, it's just, again, this propagandistic system that tries to tell you this is the freest nation in the world, and, you know, nobody's ever been as free as you are today. But anyway, go ahead and cough up that tax money, right? Matter of fact, don't even worry about it. We'll just automatically take it from your check. We'll tell you what you're allowed to keep out of the fruits of your own labor, right? Land of the free. Yeah, bullshit. But absolutely ridiculous, man. But either way, let's talk about Ukraine. Actually, we'll wait on Ukraine. I want to save the geopolitics toward the end, but real quick, let's talk about old Taylor Swift. All right, so I know, you know, that the haters gonna hate, you know, but you just gotta shake it off. Whatever. Who gives a fuck, right? I honestly never had any doubt in my mind that Taylor Swift was going to endorse Kamala Harris. If anything, the best thing that I think we could have hoped for is for her to abstain from endorsing anybody in general. I think that was our best bet. There is zero possibility that Taylor Swift was ever going to endorse Donald Trump, right? We saw people, you know, some of these conservative, you know, talking heads and stuff like that, basically trying to, oh, you know, like this is a, she's trying to start a family. Like she's all about families and stuff now. Like she's really, her biological clock's ticking, you guys. Like, bullshit. She don't fucking give a shit. She's fucking Hollywood. She's fucking loaded to the fucking gills. She doesn't give a shit about that, right? All of her relationships are fucking fake and, you know, tabloid fucking propaganda. As we saw, you know, because I didn't talk about it, you know, because I don't give a shit, like I said. But we talked, you know, all of her relationships are contracted out and, you know, set up to fail at certain times, you know, during certain opportunistic moments, distract the public whenever we need you to. Taylor Swift has been a tool of the propagandistic machine since her inception, probably. I'd assume, you know. But yeah, so either way, you never expected her to ever endorse Donald Trump. And even if her endorsement is based off of a personal decision and not based off of who her handlers are or who the people are that sign her checks, I still don't think that she would have ever endorsed Donald Trump, even off of her own personal, her own personal identity or her own personal thought process. I don't think that she was ever going to endorse Donald Trump. So again, who gives a shit? You know, none of her, even if she were to endorse Donald Trump, all that would mean is she loses fans. It doesn't mean that her fans are going to suddenly like, no, what? You're right. This person that I've been calling an orange Nazi fascist pig for the past fucking 10 years, actually, you're right. You know what? He's a good guy. I'm going to vote for him. That's not the way it is going to go, right? Nobody fucking thought that. So really, it's completely inconsequential. And that's why we're only spending probably about 3 to 5 fucking minutes on it. Moving on. Let's talk about Joe Biden putting on this motherfucking MAGA hat, right? Because there's a couple different angles on this, right? There's a couple different angles that this could go. Start with this one real quick. All right. So, breaking news. Another video has dropped proving Joe Biden intentionally put on a Trump hat. Has released. This is the craziest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I cannot believe this is real. This is real life right now. What the fuck is going on? All right. So, I've seen a lot of people, we're trying to say, oh, he got tricked into putting on a MAGA hat. Like, he got tricked into putting on a Donald Trump hat. Like, he didn't get fucking tricked. Like, yeah, the dude's not all there, right? In my opinion, I think that he knows that he's been put out to pasture. I think he's resentful for it. All right. So we'll go down that angle in just a bit. But ultimately, I think that inside himself, he realizes that he's been put out to pasture as well. And basically he's okay, whatever. He's not trying to walk around and be president no more. He's not trying to walk around and try to like, oh, Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. You haven't heard him utter those fucking words, and since the whole Kamala coup, we'll call it. But yeah, I think for one, he's bitter about it, and then for two, I think he just doesn't care anymore. That's what I think it is. All right, so this video right here actually does kind of highlight his humanity, right? It highlights the fact that he was probably still in there somewhere. Of course, now his brain's kind of dementia riddled, and he's not the most articulate. He can't necessarily get his thoughts across as good as he used to. Of course, he used to talk pretty good in the past. We've seen older videos of him, but of course now he stutters quite a bit. He says weird words that don't actually make sense. And he's just not always there all the time, right? But like I say, I think here he's showing a bit more of his human side. He's gone from talking, calling basically half the country fucking Nazis and fascists, and saying that half the country is terrorists and existential threat to the United States of America and our democracy, right? He's been saying that for the past fucking 5-6 years. I'm sure he's been saying it in the past too, but since he's been president, that's what all of his State of the Union addresses have been about. That's basically every single press conference. That's all he's been about. That's every single speech has been about Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans, this and that, right? And then now to see him turn around and he's just basically, again, I don't know the whole circumstances, everything that's going on here. It appears to be at some sort of rally. I believe this is in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but yeah. So basically, he goes and he talks to this clearly very Trump supporter, and yeah, I'll let you watch the video.
Trump, I'll give you my presidential hat. Presidential seal on it.
You want to autograph it?
Oh, sure, I'll autograph it.
Huh?
Yeah.
You remember your name?
I don't remember my name. I'm slow.
You're an old fart. You're an old fart.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old fart, right?
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know.
All right.
I'm a young timer.
He reminds me of the guys I grew up with. There was always one in the neighborhood.
Well, I'm the only one.
There you go, man. I need that hat.
Want my autograph?
Hell no.
You know my name. Come on.
I ain't going that far.
Yeah. You said you would do a selfie. There he goes. Hey, I'm proud of you now. Huh?
Just remember, no eating dogs and cats.
Hey, they're good.
Thank you.
They're good. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I hope you like the pizza.
Huh?
You guys picked the place to get. I don't know where it's not easy.
All right. Look at that. Fucking shaking hands with a Nazi extremist right there. Absolutely insane, right? These are the people that he's been talking about for years, are the MAGA extremists, right? The Nazi, the neo-Nazis and whatnot, right? That's them. Right. So yeah. Clearly you see past the veil now, right? You see that it was all a fucking charade. It was all a fucking sham. It was all bullshit. Of course, that is what politics is, and that's what we've been saying, for quite some time here. It's all political theater. That's what it's always been. The illusion that you have a choice, the illusion that you can make a difference, but ultimately, a lot of this stuff has been predetermined, and Donald Trump was the first wrench in the gears that actually ended up making it through, and now he's really making a big mess of things for them, and they're angry about it. But as we can see here, this face does not look like he's he's not campaigning no more. He's not trying to run for re-election. He looks like just somebody's old fucking grandpa talking about don't eat the dogs, don't eat the cats. Again, like I said, it really is showing the like I said, the human side of Joe Biden, right? Again, still think the dude's policies are fucking absolutely ridiculous. I still think that he's a criminal. He's a criminal. I still think that he's sold out the United States to foreign nations. I think that his son is an international criminal as well. But nonetheless, like I said, this paints Joe Biden in a completely different light. And again, like I said, not necessarily like, oh, I like the guy, but again, it's showing the stark contrast between politics and basically just an old man trying to fucking slip back into the shadows and hope that he doesn't get arrested, or fucking hope that he doesn't get indicted before he's able to pardon his son and sail off into the fucking sunset on millions of dollars worth of embezzled and fucking laundered United States tax dollars. Because of course, as we know, Joe Biden, most of the Democrat Party in general, has never actually produced anything other than political power and policies, right? That is what it is, though. Either way, let's go ahead and get into this real quick, this next clip right here, because of course, he kept the hat, right? He kept the hat all the way back up to fucking Air Force One. Kept the hat. So that's like I said, that's interesting. Rather interesting there. Right. Again, it could be one of two things. He forgot that he's holding it. That is very, very possible. He forgot that he's holding that hat. Or two, he's trying to send a message. And that message is, fuck you, Kamala, you fucking bitch. Yeah, that's what I think that message is. Hey, how's it going, Liberty Swine? It says, what she's made $1 billion doing, picking the wrong guys. Yeah, yep. Fucking old cackles. But I forgot where I was at. But yeah, and like I said, it shows a little bit of Joe Biden not in politic mode. It shows it really just kind of shows what the dirty game actually is, what it actually is and what it actually ain't. But all right, now moving on to the final topic, geopolitics. Real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and hop in on this Blinken, because Blinken's trending. Hopefully, you didn't make any sort of rash decisions. September 12th. Polish people are concerned the USA is about to start World War III. Polish MEP Braun and Anthony Blinken visiting Poland today. Blinken, go home as soon as possible. Get lost. We don't want you here. We don't want Polish people paying and dying for your wars. Understandable. I agree.
Blinken, go home. Go home as soon as possible. Get lost. Get lost. We don't want you here. We don't want Polish people paying and dying for your wars. Thank you very much.
Right. They don't want to be the next fucking Ukraine. Right? That's what's going on with Ukraine. Fucking Ukraine is cannon fodder. That's it. They're fucking lambs for the slaughter. That's all that they are. They're, like I said, it really is sad. You don't want to talk about human lives like this, but that really is what it is. That's the nation that we live in. That's what our government does. It fucking it's our thing is global hegemony, right? And that's what we've done with a lot of the other NATO states. That's what we tried doing with that's what we're doing now with Ukraine, basically. But yeah, it's a huge escalation that we're going to be talking about here in a second. But yeah, so apparently he is in Poland, and they're trying to get him out of there. Let's see. Scott Adams says, "Geesh, I wish Blinken would show a little love for the American taxpayers instead of laundering over $700 million of our money in Ukraine, so that West Executive DC think tank can get rich while bribing politicians with campaign donations in an election year." All right, let's check this one out real quick. So Blinken visits Kiev as Ukraine pushes for more weapons.
We're announcing $325 million in new funding to help repair Ukraine's energy and electric grid. And we'll rally additional support from the G7 plus countries when we have a meeting of the Energy Coordination Group in the next couple of weeks. I'm also announcing today $290 million in new humanitarian support to help provide vital services like safe drinking water, food, shelter, medicine to millions of people in Ukraine and around the region who've been displaced by Putin's war. We're announcing $300.
It's your fucking war, you fucking scumbags. But let's see. Yeah. All right. So this is the Putin response. I actually have this on mine, but we'll go ahead and check this one out. So Clint Russell says, it is expected that Blinken will announce tomorrow that the U.S. has given Ukraine the green light to strike deep inside Russia using Western-made Storm Shadow missiles. This would mean NATO and the U.S. are at war with Russia. Putin explains their position here. All right. So, of course, that would be basically us being at war with Russia. As I've mentioned, quite a bit before, even us just supplying all the weapons and everything to Ukraine. Like I said, how would we feel if Mexico were trying to if we were fighting Mexico or something like that? How would you feel if we were fighting the cartel, right? If we were down there fucking finally cleaning up the fucking cartel and wiping them all out, but China goes ahead and supplies the Mexican cartels with anti-tank fucking weaponry, fucking surface to air missiles, fucking radar, fucking basically all these high powered military weaponry. How would we feel about that? Would we just be like, oh man, these Mexican cartels are really high tech? No, obviously that is fucking China trying to attack us through a proxy, which would be the Mexican drug cartels, right? That's exactly what we are doing over there with Ukraine right now. We are basically paying Ukraine. We're sending over our old fucking weaponry, our old, military equipment, and we're basically, having them fight Russia for us, right? Because of course, Russia has always been the enemy. We've always been at war with Russia, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like I say, we've talked about this quite a bit. This is exactly, what they've been planning all along, right? Donald Trump, if he does get in office, he's going to inherit a geopolitical nightmare. He's going to inherit a world economic nightmare. He's going to inherit domestic economic nightmare. He's going to inherit domestic polarization nightmare. It's going to be a complete fucking nightmare. All right. Of course, this is all planned. This is all, intentional, right? Donald Trump went ahead and disrupted the war machine for 4 years, so they basically got to get it back on track, and they're going big and going home, right? World War III or bust. That's basically the entire platform right now. See, your Liberty sign says, "I wish this piece of shit lizard would go home too. I don't want Americans paying for this shit either. Go now, get." Right? Yeah. Get, motherfucker. Yeah, dude, get the fuck out of there. Like, what the fuck are we doing over there? What the fuck? I mean, of course, I understand, NATO, or, Poland is in NATO, but either way, what the fuck is NATO anymore? Right? NATO is quite simply just a United States fucking, militaristic, hegemonic fucking machine fund. It's basically a funnel that we could use to take American tax dollars and use it to go fucking blow up little fucking brown kids all over the world. We've been using it for fucking decades now, ever since World Wars II. All right. So yeah, man, there's no reason for NATO anymore. I mean, the fucking Soviet Union fell, decades ago, back when I was a little fucking kid. And, ultimately they killed the monster. They basically became the monster. And that's all that NATO is. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. Anthony Blinken needs to get the fuck out of there. Go home, dude. Go home and stay home. Matter of fact, we need the government to shut down for a little bit. I know you guys are going to be trying to pass this omnibus bill, and we're going to go ahead and slide through the fucking SAVE Act in there. And if you guys don't pass it, well, we're going to shut this bitch down. Of course, that's what you'd like to actually happen, but we'll actually see if that's how it goes. Of course, every single time that there's been threats of a government shutdown, there's always been one side that caves, and it's not the Democrats. It's never the Democrats, right? The Democrats always get exactly what they want in these omnibus bills. They go ahead and get to fucking, do these earmarks and these riders and all this stuff on these huge fucking omnibus bills, and we threaten like, oh, we're not going to pass this unless you give us X, Y, and Z, and they say nope. And then we just, oh, well, we can't shut down the government. All right, we're going to pass it. Continuing resolution, kick the can down the road, right? So we have one of these omnibus bills coming up. They're going to try and pass through the SAVE Act in there, which is basically some absolutely basic shit that says that, you need to be an American citizen to vote, right? You need to fucking have American ID in order to vote. It's pretty basic. But of course, the Democrats, they're trying to do, oh, it's already illegal. You don't need to make extra laws. It's already illegal. Meanwhile, okay, murder is already illegal, but you're still trying to ban guns, right? Oh, you don't need to make extra laws. You don't need to take away people's guns. Murder's already illegal, right? It's the same principle, but ultimately, it's all just government overreach. It's just government creating extra problems to try and create solutions that, of course, grant them more power by the people to fix the same problems that they created. And then they're going to use that extra power that they just got from the people to create more fucking problems, so that way they could get the people to give them more power. There's a reason that we've gone from, being relatively free, pre-World War II, to being absolutely socialist fucking United States of America, and our quality of life, at least our level of freedom, our amount of privacy, our amount of sovereignty from our own government has decreased drastically, right? Things have gotten much worse. Things that, the amount that your dollar is worth has gone from bad to worse. And meanwhile, we're calling this progress. All right. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. But either way, I've gone off topic. Let's go ahead and get back to Russia and see Putin's response when he's told that it's seeming more than likely that the United States is going to go ahead and greenlight NATO, Ukraine, to go ahead and use long-range missiles of American manufacturing to go ahead and strike deep within the heart of Russia.
В последние дни мы видим и слышим, как на очень высоком уровне в Великобритании и в США муссируется тема о том, что киевский режим сможет наносить ударом на территории России западными вооружениями большой дальности. И, судя по всему, это решение либо вот-вот будет принято, либо, судя по всему, вообще уже принято. И эта вещь, конечно, экстраординарная. Хотелось попросить прокомментировать то, что происходит.
So he was just asked, like I said, basically that they're saying that it could be as soon as tomorrow that they're going to announce that Ukrainians could go ahead and launch missiles into Russia, and this is Putin's response. So there is an attempt to substitute concepts because we are not talking about authorizing or banning the Kiev regime from striking across the entire territory. It is already striking with the help of drones and other means. But when it comes to using high precision, long range, Western made weapons, it's a completely different story. The fact is that I have already mentioned this, and any experts will confirm that both in our country and in the West, the Ukrainian army is not able to strike with modern long-range precision systems of Western manufacture. It cannot do this. It can only do so using intelligence from satellites, which Ukraine does not have. This is data only from EU satellites or from the United States. In general, from NATO satellites. This is the first thing. The second, and very important, maybe is that only serves main effect in inter-flight assignments into the missiles, the missile systems. Ukrainian servicemen cannot do this, and so this is not about allowing the Ukrainian regime to strike Russia with these weapons or not. It's about deciding whether NATO countries are directly involved in a military conflict or not. If this decision is made, it will mean nothing other than that the direct participation of NATO countries, the United States, European countries in the war in Ukraine, this is their direct participation, and this already, of course, significantly changes the very essence of the nature of the conflict. This would mean that NATO countries, the United States, European countries are at war with Russia. And if that's the case, then bearing in mind the change in the very essence of this conflict, we will take appropriate decisions based on the threats that will be posed to us. All right. So yeah, basically saying that Ukraine is not capable of firing long-range missiles because of the fact that Ukraine doesn't have any satellites. You know who does have satellites, though? NATO and the United States, the European countries. Those people have satellites, and they're capable of firing long-range missiles from different locations, even from Ukraine. So basically, if long-range missiles fire from Ukraine into Russia, that's not the Ukrainians launching missiles into Russia. That is the Westerns and NATO forces firing missiles into Russia. That is an act of war. It doesn't matter who you ask. That is an act of war, right? So yeah, things could get very hairy over this weekend. Definitely. Pay attention. I don't see any. Obviously, I don't see. Of course, always be on alert. Always, expect the unexpected. I don't think there's any chance of Russia striking, the United States, anything like that. But let's see. Liberty Swan says they want to use tactical nukes. Complete moron, weak wrists, pushing men to die. All right. These people are absolutely fucking disgusting human beings on all sides. All sides. All these fucking, all the war pigs, all the generals gathered in their masses. All those people. Absolutely fucking disgusting human beings. Right? I don't even know if you could call them human beings. They're fucking lizard people. They're fucking demons. They're fucking monsters. They're evil human beings. They're the pure essence of absolute evil. Right? Making war just for fun. Treating people like pawns in chess. That's exactly what this is, right? When you actually look at a Ukraine, actually, let's see, I found this video earlier. let me see if I could still find it real quick. But it's basically a I believe Ukrainian commentator. Basically just talking about how the United States is using the West, or the United States is basically using fucking Ukraine as cannon fodder. Okay, no, not this one. I don't know if I'll be able to find it or not, but we'll just scroll through a little bit. Now this one's classic.
Christopher, there's a presidential race going on right now. Are you going to vote in 2024? What do you think is going to happen?
My vote is useless. I think Biden's better than Trump because he sends rockets to Ukraine.
In support of Ukraine, you mean?
Hell Ukraine. Hell Azov.
All right, classic. Can't forget that one. But yeah, that's that's fucking Kamala Harris's support now, right? That's the people backing Kamala Harris now, right? She got the fucking the Hail Ukraine, fucking Slava Ukraine neo-Nazis and shit. They've also got fucking Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin actually fucking supports Kamala Harris, right? He's also got what is it, the fucking Cheneys, right? The people that the Democrats have been calling the devil, the fucking evil, fucking white folk and this and that type shit. They got the Cheneys, right? So they got the devil, they got fucking the Nazis, they got fucking they got Taylor Swift. Don't forget about that. That's a big endorsement too, right? And then they got fucking Putin, right? That's who's supporting old cackles. I don't know if I'll be able to find this video or not, but I don't know. Maybe I put it on mine. Right? These people are absolutely eating the cats. Right? Why do you need to put up signs that says please do not eat the ducks if nobody's eating the ducks? Don't worry, guys. Nothing to see here. Not here. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it, but either way, definitely some crazy times that we're looking at. Some crazy times that we're looking at in the future here. Yeah, in the near future, things aren't looking too great. Again, I think we can still pull through. I think that again, things can get rough, but if you remain positive, if you're a fucking decent person, get to know your neighbors, get to know your community, keep your magazines loaded, fucking keep plenty of ammo, keep plenty of fucking supplies, always be prepared for the worst. But I think that we get through this. I don't see nuclear annihilation going on. There probably could be a nuclear strike somewhere, somewhere major. That it's probably going to be another, Hiroshima, Nagasaki moment. I do see that as a possibility, a very, very real possibility, not even a far-fetched possibility. That seems pretty plausible to me. But again, I don't see the whole world going into nuclear annihilation. I mean, it is still a possibility because, I mean, don't forget during the Hiroshima Nagasaki days, it's not like everybody had an atom bomb, Now they do though. So I mean, it could be different, It could. I doubt someone's just going to get hit with a nuke and just like, all right, everybody, let's just agree to stop. We'll just keep it at that one. So I mean, there is a possibility that it could be, but ultimately, I'm pretty optimistic that it's not. But either way, we'll just have to wait and see. But I think that America could make it through this. Again, I don't think we're going to be any sort of anything that we used to resemble. I don't think it's going to be anything the way that this country used to be, of course. I think that we'll probably try and keep the stuff that was great about America. I think that we are going to try and eventually shed off a lot of this socialism that has infected our nation over the past several decades. At least I hope. Like I say, that's my optimistic view. But either way, cheers. All right. Good shit. Good shit. Let me see. Yep, I think that's about it. Well, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Appreciate you for chatting it up in the old chat there, Liberty Swine. I hope you had a great week. Hope you had a great vacation. Yeah. It's good times. Appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video out with your friends. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And as always, fuck off.